Hello and welcome to Dragons,
Unicorns,
and Other Creative Creatures. And this is...
a creative creature. Hello, little creative creature. I'm Rona Gofstein.
And I'm Dr. Kevin. And we're here to say, stop Santa judging me.
Stop judging me.
Stop judging me. This is the last of our, well, no, we'll have another Christmas, I think we'll have another Christmas themed show.
We might, yes.
I think we might, we're not sure. Taping's always a little off. We might have had some a little earlier than we should have, but
I decided to enjoy the holiday bells.
yes, yes, elves bells.
Elves bells.
Elves bells. Yeah, say that a few times
No,
fast.
the one was about all I think I can do. I'm amazed I got that one out. Elves. Yeah, no. See.
So, before we introduce our guest, my question for you is,
Yes, I did.
does Santa Claus teach children judgment?
As in what's naughty and what's nice?
Yeah, as in being judged. Is there a judge? You know, the first time I saw this, I was like, oh, it's a minion.
That's cute.
That's cute, blah, blah. And then I thought about it and I went, no, I need to get this t-shirt. and I kind of get it because, you know, easily one of the first lies that it's obvious that kids know that their parents lie to them is when they figure out that the Santa Claus as it's been portrayed does not exist.
Right. I actually have friends who chose not to tell the myth that way, you know, that Santa was bringing presents and stuff like that for lots of reasons, one of which is for both of them, or for several of them, their most vivid Christmas memory is the first year without Santa.
Yep.
That is, I mean, of all the Christmases they've had, good and bad, that one is the most vivid.
Yep. And, you know, and it's very funny because I actually fought with my creative writing teacher when I was in high school because I did a paper about why I still believed in Santa Claus. And he challenged it. And I remember him standing there and I like debated him standing up in the middle of our creative writing class until he gave me an A for the paper. Because I would not back down. That Santa Claus exists within the collective consciousness, exists as an idea, exists as an energy. And as long as there is that.
The spirit, you know, the spirit of Christmas, the spirit of giving, the spirit of generosity, and hopefully not the spirit of judging.
But that is one of the aspects.
Well, that whole sees you when you're sleeping, sees you when you're awake thing, we're now back to like dark fiction.
Voyeurism. Voyeurism. Santa's a voyeur.
Yeah. I like the people who have suggested the idea that if you are putting out gifts that are from Santa, make those very generic. Make the gifts from you the ones that the kids, definitely on the kids' Christmas list. But, you know, don't make it so that Santa must be rich for our family and not as rich for other families. You know, make the gifts from Santa very basic.
Okay, so
you know,
now
let Santa bring the socks and the books or whatever. And I thought that was an interesting idea, rather than Santa bringing bicycles and, you know, dream houses.
So I like those glasses.
Here comes one out of left field.
And one of the reasons I like those glasses is because when I say things like I'm getting ready to say, the camera can really catch your eyes rolling. Because, so I had this.
You know, it's always good to be warned in advance that I'm going to be needing to roll my eyes. Should I do a warm up?
You don't have to roll your eyes.
But you might.
But you might. But you might, Blanche. No, but you no.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right.
Okay, so
Now the duly prepared.
let me have more of my coffee.
Yeah, think it's
She wants to know what's in my coffee. She asks all the
Yeah,
time,
think
but she
it's
won't. She
coffee.
won't sip. She won't
I'm
ever
getting
take a
in that
sip.
mug that says you only think it's coffee.
Okay, so I did see this meme, and I really struggled whether I was going to share it or not.
Apparently, if you stop struggling.
But I have not shared it on my timeline because I don't know if I want to deal with all the crackpots that would respond to it. But I might. I still might. It said, there's this little kid, and it goes, why doesn't Santa bring gifts to needy kids? And underneath it says, the same reason why Jesus doesn't feed the homeless. That's what imaginary characters do.
Oh, that's got too many, that's got too many things. Yeah, I might do that eye roll, people. You ready? Zoom in? No, don't zoom into the eye roll. I don't even want to go with the imaginary people. It's more a case of, well, didn't they just kind of, aren't they trying to leave that up to us? Aren't we supposed to be as good as they were? Because, not celebrating Christmas. I'm trying to answer this seriously. It's so not working, people. Are you noticing how it's not working? My kids asked me about Santa when they were, probably about 5 and 6.
Have they ever asked you about Jesus? Because you're Jewish.
Yes, and so was he, yes. No,
okay.
they know all about him.
Okay,
Nice
go
guy.
ahead.
Nice guy, good rabbi. Very good communicator.
Santa was a rabbi? I didn't
No,
know that.
Jesus was a rabbi.
Jesus, Santa was a rabbi?
Oh, there's no getting out of this, people. There's just no.
Go ahead.
But Saint Nicholas and who he was and what
Yeah.
he did and why he became the name
Saint
that
Nicholas,
we
yes.
as opposed to the Nightmare Before Christmas and Santa Claus and that concept. But who he was and again why he's designated and assigned to this holiday. And that part they liked. They liked the idea that there was this person who lived a life that other people should emulate, which is definitely very much a part of what we teach about biblical characters and things like that, whether or not you feel it's mythology or you feel it's divine. The stories are there for a reason to teach us and to show us what to emulate and what not to emulate. So they're like, okay, so there was a Santa Claus, he's just now dead. I'm like, yeah, you might not want to phrase it that way with the friends out in the real world.
So speaking about the Nightmare Before Christmas,
Yes.
I think we should move on to our guest for today.
All right. The sooner the
Who is
better.
the author of Some Horrific Evening.
Some horrific evening. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, because that one, once you have found her, the gut gets really high, and I'm not hitting that note.
Do it. See what happens.
No.
Maybe it should be When She Will Strangle Her.
Yeah, well, that could be the sequel.
So we have Mary E. Hart. She started writing stories back in the 5th grade. But those were about aliens and Princess Diana. Not to be confused with Diana Prince
Right.
Wonder Woman.
of
Right.
Wonder Woman. She graduated from Stonehill College and went to hone her writing skills in the field of computer book publishing, bridal magazines, technology marketing, and freelancing for local newspapers and magazines. She self-published her first book, Some Horrific Evening, in June of 2017.
It's a baby book.
It's a
It's a
baby,
baby
book.
book.
No babies were harmed in the making of this book.
No, but many cups of coffee and
And look,
The minion has the book.
it's being supported by a minion.
That's fabulous. I love it. That's perfect.
So, Mary, talk to us about Some Horrific Evening. And, well, first of all, you have done a lot of things, honing your writing skills, working in many fields. Now, were you writing for like bridal technology book publishing magazines? Was that your?
bridal technology.
computer.
That's a new one.
That is a thing.
It is
there are
actually.
wedding planning sites,
And there are
but
wedding
no,
apps,
That wasn't
so-
what I was writing for. I started out back as an editorial assistant at a computer book publisher. That was my first ever job out of college, the first real job. And then moved up the ranks there to bring on new authors for computer books. And then took a break. The company moved to Boston. I did 6 months commuting to Boston, thought that was not quite for me. Especially since every single day my office looked down over onto Montilio's bakery window. And so that was
not good for
very,
the
very
commuting and not good for
dangerous.
the-
No, not
not
at
good for
all. It just wasn't good all around. So.
All around.
Literally all around,
Yep,
yes,
yep,
it
yep,
was.
yep.
So I left there and joined New England Ride magazine and became their editor. I was brought on to launch New England Corporate Events magazine, but shortly after I left there, the editor for that one decided to go to law school. So I took over the writing and editing for both magazines. And lots
Oh,
of,
sure, why
I know,
not?
what the heck? You know, I have all this time in the world. I
Exactly,
didn't
you
have
know,
kids then, so I
you're-
actually did have all the time
Well,
in the
that's
world.
true, but you know, you're a writer, you can write anything.
Exactly, it's fine. And they actually did have a bunch of, places that interacted, that some of the hotels would do corporate events and they'd also do weddings.
That's true.
So I could kill two birds with one stone and interview the hotels, talk about how great they are and how their buffets are beautiful and lovely and scenic backdrops. And oh, look at all this AV equipment they have that they could do these, high-tech functions that they
There we
needed
go.
Good girl.
Exactly.
I like it.
It worked out really well.
Multitasking, multifaceting.
Absolutely. And so then I stayed there for 2 years, did both magazines. 9/11 hit. We took it to being across the country at corporate events into just New England because people just didn't want to travel then. So we refocused, re-energized, and then I left when I had my son and freelanced for a while, freelanced for them, freelanced for the Eagle Tribune, freelanced for the Boston Globe, writing all over the place. Anything from plumbers to home heating systems, which helped me quite a bit when I was negotiating my own home heating system, that I knew
never
what the
know
cost
when
was
things
going to
will
be.
come in
It really
handy.
came in handy there.
There you go.
And then to emergency departments, to luxury condos and retirement communities. All ran the gamut, and I became an expert on everything for at least a 200-word article.
Never for timeshares?
No, not for
Oh, you gotta write
timeshares.
for
Yeah, I
timeshares.
know, I really
So they send you
should.
on vacation. So they
Yeah,
send
That
you
would
to
have
a
been nice,
timeshare,
right? No,
yeah.
these were all by phone. It wasn't a visit any of them. That would have been really fun, though, I think.
Yeah.
Or just, go visit the trailer and then, get them to do about the timeshare.
Do they have a
and then-
magazine on trailer trash?
They might. I'm sure they're probably websites.
Trailers.
I think that's
yeah.
called Craigslist.
Oh!
Please don't leave comments down below. I don't know these people.
No, Rona doesn't
She's-
know us at all.
She's a good little elf.
She's
so
a
go
good
ahead.
elf. He's not being judged by Santa
need a
at
little-
all.
oh my God,
Or as
need a
my
little-
son called him, the stage 5 stalker.
The
So
sta-
he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're
He
awake. I'm like, you know what? It's kind of the way of looking at it.
It's an episode of Criminal Minds.
How old is your son now?
And he's now 15.
Oh,
Yes.
15.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yes,
but-
yes.
yeah. So it's fine. The stage 5 stalker thing's fine.
Yeah,
Back
he's
then,
not
no.
upset anymore about that.
No, not at all. He hasn't been upset for like 5 years. So- and even then, he told me that he found out when his sock monkey told him. And I said, I'm pretty sure you probably heard it in school, but just decided to kind of lean this in that Sprinky, the stuffed sock monkey, told you that Santa wasn't
Well, if
real.
that makes you feel better, all right,
Exactly. Yeah,
because, you
fine.
know,
Yeah,
Whatever.
there's something about a sock monkey telling you Santa doesn't exist. That
That's a whole
sock-
other writing
is he
prompt.
going to be a writer when he
He
grows up?
is. He has a very strong imagination as well, because the sock monkeys and all those other animals apparently do Fight Club down in the basement every night. And I just broke the first rule of Sock Monkey Fight Club. Sorry.
You're not supposed to talk about Sock Monkey Fight Clubs. That's the first rule of Fight Club.
Okay. Now
Yep.
tomorrow on the Eagle Tribune and the Nashville Telegraph, they're going to talk about this mysterious accident that happened
There was
where
stuffing
writer
everywhere.
Mary Hart car just accidentally flipped up into the air.
Yeah, there's
Exactly. It
stuffing
happens.
everywhere.
Yes.
Yes, there was stuffing everywhere, and there
Mm-hmm.
was some banana peels underneath her tires.
That wasn't black ice. That was a banana peel.
You know, anything's possible. Oof.
go
Anyway,
ahead.
thank God you're not commuting anymore.
Exactly, right? Well, I do now, actually. So that's
Oh,
not
that's
good.
true.
Yeah.
You do.
That's not good. But so I left there, freelanced for a while, and then joined the world of technology marketing and business to business technology marketing. Still lots of writing emails, writing newsletters, and trying to make, clouds and wide area networks sound as sexy as possible for people who want to actually click on them.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it works. It's all kind of a
Somebody
facet.
does it. It's why, when we see these things and we click on them, somebody.
So-
Exactly.
so
Someone
our-
actually has to write those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually taken courses in
Yes.
writing those. I've generated my own for email campaigns
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and you've got to have them so they'll open them.
Exactly. And click and all that
There's
fun
a
stuff.
All that
science
click
to
stuff. The only way that the that the cloud gets sexy is when the clouds part.
When the clock.
So go ahead, keep going.
My eyes are gonna fall out of my head before this
You do.
episode's
And we can
over.
see the eyes rolling. Very good,
my
thanks to your
God.
glasses, Rona.
Ooh. I knew there was a reason I needed bigger lenses.
Just to,
Anyway.
see
I know, really. All the better to see you with my
what the
hair.
big bad wolf is throwing.
Okay.
Or the big bad minion.
So yeah.
So I was freelance writing for a while, and there's the big bad minion right there.
There he is.
And with his
Brains.
different colored eyes. His eyes aren't rolling yet. If they
Yes.
do, then we're definitely not
Then we're
drinking
gonna
coffee.
yeah. Unless somebody spiked the
We'll
creamer.
see what's really in that creamer, Kevin.
So moving right along.
Yes. So I left freelancing and joined technology marketing, and then worked there for about 7 years. Went through a layoff. Well, what happens? Went back
Yeah.
to freelancing, and at that time, this book came to me in a dream, or a part of it did anyway. That
Cool.
I always have vivid dreams. I remember them.
Oh, that's
quite
cool.
a
A lot
bit.
of
I mean,
people. I know
yeah.
several people who do. And
I
there are just as
remember
many who
every
don't.
single thing about them, and
Ooh.
I had a dream where I woke up and I envisioned people being in a kitchen, and the walls started changing colors and moving in closer, and the floor started shifting colors and changed from black and white to just all white, and then the Creep by Radiohead was playing in the background. And so,
Oh, do you?
yeah, exactly. So it's either that, I don't know if I ate some bad Chinese food the night before, or if I was having a
A
flashback.
bit of bread.
Exactly.
Like Dickens,
Yeah.
Christmas Carol, an undigested
Yes.
piece of meat.
Candy
An
cane.
undigested piece of meat.
Or if I was having a flashback to the Star Wars trash compactor scene
Yes,
with the scenes
that's true.
with the walls
There's-
coming
yep.
in. But that became one little part of the book, and Creep starts out the book actually because, like myself, the main character does very strongly with misheard lyrics. And for Creep, it becomes, I'm a creek, I'm a river. Not, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. So and that's what she's,
That's the
it's been
PG
prologue.
version.
Exactly. Yes, and so
Okay.
so then I had that strike me, thought, what's the story behind this, and wrote it down, as I keep a notebook next to the bed so I can actually
Oh,
remember
yeah.
this stuff when I wake up in the morning, because it'll be gone in an hour.
And you're
Oh,
so
yeah.
sure you're going to remember
And so
it.
I
and
totally am. And then I'm like, no, what
too.
happened here? Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was
It was
life-changingly brilliant.
Exactly.
And it's gone.
And the one that you remember for 4 days is the one that you're like, you need to get out of my head,
Yeah, you
so the
can go
good one
away.
can
Exactly.
come forward.
Those
now.
are the ones where you wake up going,
No, where'd that come from? That, I didn't want to dream that about that person. No.
No, not at all.
Never. Those are the ones that stick with you, and it's awful. Yeah.
so unfair.
Yes, very much so. So I did lots of just jotting down some ideas, and it took 3 years of off and on writing because I just wasn't paying that much attention to it because I was focusing on what paid. And
What, yeah.
yeah, it's kind of funny how that works. And so, but I'd write snippets here and there. First thought I'd never get past like 14,000 words, and then last year I was working full time again, and went to National Novel Writing Month in NaNoWriMo, and figured, okay, you know what? I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to put my brain to it, and got it up to 70,000 words, and then decided I need to do something with this because I actually finally finished the darn thing.
Yay, finishing is
Yes.
so important.
Oh, finishing is so important. Yes.
It's very important, considering how many unfinished things I have book-wise and
Yes,
stuff
here
like
you
that.
Oh, yeah,
Most
I've got-
writers do.
Yeah.
I have
Exactly.
more.
Yeah.
I have more things in my unfinished folder than my finished.
Oh,
Absolutely. Those are the
yeah.
ideas that you can then pluck later. You know?
Yes, but it's so important to get to, I mean, they say that the statistics, of the people who say they're going to write a book, I think 10% do, and of the people who start to write a book, I think only 10% of them actually finish it.
Absolutely.
So it's a very small percentage to get to even close to this point.
Absolutely.
Well, Rona and I originally met at a place called CEO Space, where I was on faculty there, and we were for entrepreneurs. It's an MBA level boot camp for entrepreneurs, and we get a lot of authors.
We do.
People that would come in and stuff like this. And people would sit down at my breakfast, lunch, and dinner tables all the time, and they'd say, because I have several books out, they'd want to
Absolutely.
know
Yeah.
about, like getting books out
Right.
and publishing stuff like this.
I have a book in me, really.
Are you sure? Where are you keeping that?
And I just thought it was a pistol in your pocket.
And you're just happy to see it.
And you're just happy to see. But my first question is it done? And 95% of the
Oh, no,
time, the
not done,
answer
yeah.
was, well, I've got the idea, or I've started it, or whatever. I'm like, when it's done,
Yep.
come talk to me.
Absolutely.
Because just finishing it is just the first step.
Yes.
But don't even talk to me till the first step is done.
Right.
That's right. Actually, there's a friend of ours at CEO Space who now have built a company around helping people get the darn books out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because there are some great books that are still floating around people's heads.
Yes.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Most of those are nonfiction too, which is different, but
But still, same idea. Yeah.
exactly.
So I'm going to read the back cover. Can I read the back cover?
Absolutely, you can read the back cover.
I'm going to read this back
Aloud?
cover.
I'll drink some of this LSD coffee. Was he do
Some
that?
horrific. No, you can't have my coffee.
She's going to drink her coffee that you
Her coffee.
doctored for
You
her.
poured the creamer, so I don't know what's in it.
Are you going to read
My
it out loud?
coffee is black. I'm going to read it out loud. Yes.
You
I'm
said you were
gonna-
going to read it. I just
Yeah,
thought
we
we'd be
figured you were just going to sit here while Kevin
I can let
thinks.
them. I can let the minion read it. No.
The minions should read it, yes.
Maura Hartwell is so excited to plan her first event at an old mansion, which seems oddly familiar to her. But when she and her team show up to prep for the event, they find themselves trapped.
Dun, dun, dun.
The doors and windows are locked shut. The walls start moving and scenes from past events come back to life in front of their eyes. Will Maura and her team get out alive? How is Maura connected to the events from the 1940s that are appearing around them? Can we have the thunderbolt, please?
No.
No, please don't thunder in here. No.
How about a-
Can we have
something
thunder
like-
down under in here? That'd be fun.
I can do that, but I can't figure out how I would actually make thunder.
No.
Is that good enough? Yeah.
The tragic love story from the past sparks a potential romance for Maura, but she needs to get out of the house alive to first have a future.
Well, they always
That
do.
would kind of is a good idea, yeah.
Well, you know, there's something to be said for, you know, love
Her being
among
able
the
to stay
zombies.
there as a
Dead person, yeah.
yeah, that would be Rose Red. Rose Red? Is that the
Oh,
Stephen
yes,
King one with
yep.
the massive
Rose Red,
house?
Rose Red, yes.
Rose
that
Red,
was
she
a
stays.
good one. Oh my
She
gosh.
stays.
I
Well-
love
Classic
that.
haunted house.
Uh-huh, absolutely.
Did you ever see Mythica?
No.
No.
What's Mythica?
Mythica was 5 movies that were done, instead of doing a series, it was done as 5 like 90-minute movies,
Mm-hmm.
and it follows the ascension of this heroine character that goes in, that's a necromancer that's saving the world.
Cool.
It's movies, and
Nice.
it's kind of interesting. But at the very end, and I'm going to do a spoiler here, unfortunately.
That's all right. We'll go.
But at the very end,
Mary doesn't want to hear it.
No, I do,
her
I
and the guy that, and the elf that she has been having this like romanceful looks from the distance, that finally decide that yes, they're in love near the very, very end,
Aw.
both get killed.
All right then.
And the closing thing is watching them, how they're a couple in the afterlife now.
Okay,
Having the
that's
life they
better.
talked about,
Oh,
because now
God,
they can have
okay.
it, because they've saved the world.
Aw.
And it was such an interesting twist. Now you're not going to watch it. Is
No,
that
no,
true?
no,
Now
no.
I kind of want to watch
Now
it.
she definitely wants more. No, I'm reminded the first anthology I ever edited was Retold Fairy Tales.
Yep.
And it was for a romance publisher, so everything had to be romance. And the rule in the genre is happily ever after. And my good friend Melissa, she wrote her story based on the Little Match Girl story. And I thought, oh, finally, the Little Match Girl's going to get a happy ending.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're
Spoiler
both
alert.
dead. They're happily dead together.
Does that qualify as a happily ever
It did
after?
for me.
Okay,
I
fair.
actually, that was the one, and one of the other contributors to the anthology, Ashlyn Chase, has been here. She was the one who gave us the Rapunzel who was cursing madly as her hair was finally being pulled. Like, thank you, somebody finally
Exactly,
actually.
that
it's about
would
time
hurt, yeah.
somebody does that. So I'm amassing these exactly. I'm amassing these stories, and I'm looking at them going, I need to warn the readers. So I wrote my first introduction.
Oh, I love it.
And it was important because,
Yes.
basically what it said was from a cursing Rapunzel to a bittersweet, because that's what it is. It's still a happy ending, but it's
Yeah,
a
they're
bittersweet.
still together. It's just like the end of Mythica. Yeah.
It's a bittersweet ending to
Well,
most
yeah,
people's
I mean,
minds.
you
They're
know,
together.
and it was a fascinating play and you see this in mythology for
Oh, yeah.
forever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That there's this reward that you get in the afterlife when
Yeah.
you're the hero.
Yes.
And it may not be,
Long life and
100
riches.
Yeah.
101 virgins or whatever it is, 79 virgins? I can't-
16, I thought it was, or 17. They only
Like
get tiny
Captain
amount of
Kirk,
virgins.
no, go where no
Yeah,
man
not
has gone
101.
before.
No, I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 70 something. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
If you know how many
Too many.
virgins you get,
Put
let
that
me
thing in
know.
the comments.
Please comment in the comments below.
Yeah, right there.
Don't put it in the comments. Please don't comment.
And make sure you dress them all to Rona. No. She is Dragons and Unicorns.
Major trouble.
Original virgin. You won't tell your kids that, okay?
Oh, Lordy.
But
Ding-a-ling.
But
Indeed.
anyways,
Oh, no.
No, no.
No, no.
No, don't start singing that. That's where I went, though.
but you do have this thing where there's the hero's reward, and their hero's
Yeah,
reward.
absolutely.
It's part of the satisfying ending is the hero's reward.
Yeah, and God knows in enough religious books that what comes in heaven.
True.
Yeah,
So what's the
sainthood,
difference?
we were just talking
You're
about
right, yeah.
St. Nicholas, yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't get sainted.
Oh.
I'm a writer, I can make up words. You can't become a saint until you're dead, so that's,
Well, you can't become a saint until the Catholic Church figures
Yes, there's
out
other-
that
That
they
too.
screwed up about you, and you were right and they were wrong.
You
and
really
that's how
should have
they
been
make you-
excommunicated, and now you're back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we really shouldn't have burned you at the stake.
Sorry.
Oops, our
Not
mistake.
you.
We'll
Our
give
bad.
you a saint.
Yeah,
Do you feel
so
better?
sorry.
My bad.
Just wait till they name Saint Kevin.
I'm praying to him.
It's going to go from Dr. Kevin to Saint Kevin.
Well, now you have Minion Kevin on your shirt, so hey.
Minion Dr. St. Kevin.
So anyways, moving right along.
And you wonder why we don't finish some of these books.
We can't even finish some of these sentences.
Minions and elves and necromancers.
Oh,
Oh,
my.
my.
Okay, so
You guys saw that coming. You did.
Yes, we did.
You know you did. Okay. He may not have.
No,
the
he
rest
didn't.
of us did.
Yes, because he can't see out of the
Okay.
two different color dyes.
Now, you recently posted, and if you want to follow Mary on Facebook, we'll have her deets down below. But you posted a picture today, which I had thought about trying to upload and send here, but I didn't, of an asylum that kind of to you
Oh, yes, yeah. Well,
was-
the book was there's basically an Adamson Manor in the book. And first, it was based off of the Crane Estate at Castle Hill. And that was just kind of the general idea, but bigger. And so I work down in Westboro, and part of my lunches sometimes involve walking around Westboro, Lake Chauncey in Westboro.
She
Lake-
takes really pretty pictures when she does.
Yes, but Lake Chauncey is on the grounds of the Westboro State Asylum. So the Westboro State Asylum, when I first saw it, looked exactly like what I had pictured Adamson Manor to be. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I need to take pictures of this. It's just, except
It's
for the
huge.
boarded up concept and, the big
Yes.
X's on the door and the number of people who died there and
Other
probably
than
spirits and stuff like
that-
that. But other than that, it was a fitting resemblance to Adamson Manor. So of course I had to take all the pictures and still trying to find a way in there, and I haven't yet, but that's okay. Because that's illegal and people
'Cause that
shouldn't break
also would
into
be,
asylums.
yes, another Criminal
We don't do
Minds
that, no,
episode.
not at all.
sometimes the world would be a better place if more people broke out of the asylum.
No, and then the
Yes.
inmates can run it, of course.
Well, but
Aren't they already?
Exactly.
hey, you know what?
How are we going to be able to tell the
Don't
difference?
forget, anyone can whistle.
You know, if as many people actually saw that show as saw that show, it wouldn't have closed in 9 days.
Oh, I know. I never saw the show.
9
The show was
performances.
before me.
No,
Show
no.
is
It's called
this?
Anyone Can Whistle, and
Oh,
it is
okay.
actually about the inmates running the asylum, and it had a
Ah.
very, very short Broadway life.
Oh,
But
okay.
a lot of people claim to have seen it. Oh, yes, but I saw it. Really? Because that many people actually
Yeah, it
saw
was
it.
only
It would have
9.
run a lot longer
I'm
than
now
a
going to
week.
say I saw it, even though I'd never even heard of it.
There you go. Even better.
It probably predates you a little bit. It was 61.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no,
predates
born in
both of us.
72. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Predates
Yeah,
us.
but it had a great cast.
Oh, yeah.
Angela Lansbury,
Lee
Lee
Remick.
Remick,
Ah.
Harry Gardino.
Stuart Damon, for those of you.
Ooh, hello. yes,
For
Alan.
those of you, Alan Quartermain
Yeah.
from
General
General Hospital.
Yes. Oh, and Rona, I thought of you because I was looking back at basically my inspirations for this book, and
I was not one of them. She didn't
No,
know
no,
you
you're
then.
not. I didn't know you then. But the main characters, Maura and Ryan, are based off of Bones and Celie Booth from Bones, and I know you love
I
Bones.
love
and
Bones.
David Boreanaz, who plays Celie Booth, or played Celie Booth, I have loved since his days of Angel when he
I
was
have used him
Buffy
as
the
a
Vampire Slayer.
visual
Yes.
for
Oh yeah,
a
he's a
hero.
very good visual. Yeah.
There's some very good pictures of
Yes,
him.
there are one with a tub. Yeah.
I was gonna mention
yeah,
that
Yes,
picture.
exactly. That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm lost here. I'm okay
Oh,
with
we
being
know. All right,
lost.
one
I'm
of
going
the
back to
things
my coffee.
I know one of the things I do, and it's actually recommended to me fairly early, is kind of knowing, just having a visual of your character. And
Absolutely.
I need something that I find usually on the internet that I pick out.
Yes.
It's either I've found something through advertisements, and I've done that too. I've gone through tons of magazines and cut out pictures and kept files of images that I liked. But frequently too, if I'm watching something and I think, oh my God, he's so cute. I'm like, let me go to Google and pull a few cute pictures of him. Well, if you go to Google Images on David Boreanaz, one of them is him sitting in a bathtub, and
It's beautiful.
a nice picture.
Uh-huh.
Who is this?
He played Angel on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
and
that's after
Tall, brooding.
That's
and
after I
really
stopped
hot.
watching TV. So.
Yeah. okay.
and Steely Booth
Yeah,
on
Bones. And he
on
now
Bones.
has a TV series where he plays a Navy guy or
Yes.
Navy SEAL.
Navy SEAL. That
Yeah.
one's not going to last.
But he's tall and hot and yeah.
tall, dark, and handsome.
Okay. So
But this is this falls into the haunted house stories,
Yes,
which
very
are
much.
it's such a great trope.
Trope, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem to get old. I mean, we mentioned Rose Red, which
Was
it took me
huge,
a while
yeah.
to sort of it occurred to me. Oh my God, it is the ultimate haunted
Yes,
house.
yep.
I loved Rose Red.
Oh, that
Did
was
too,
so good.
and I loved the way
adored
they
it. Yeah.
marketed it. They created.
Uh-huh.
They gave her a website.
Yes.
They gave Rose Red a website. They gave the Ellen Rimbaugh
Yep.
like a book.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
all
remember
of
the
this-
Diary of Ellen Rimbaugh. Oh,
Yeah.
I was
All
obsessed
of
with
this
that book when it
other
came out.
stuff.
Yeah.
I have to admit, one thing bothered me, which was that they said the house would continue being built until she said it's done. And
It's like the Winchester Mystery House.
right. I kept waiting for somebody for him, since
Mm-hmm.
he was the heir, to say it's done,
Mm-hmm.
to finally make it stop, but he didn't.
Yeah.
That being said, it had some very good moments and really good
Yes.
scares.
But she had to say it was done, not him.
Well, he's the living heir. I kind of thought that he could be. But, it's because I said I kind of figured he would be the one to do it. There's a new movie coming out. Actually, that's another haunted house film based on a true story. That's the
Winchester.
word.
Yeah,
That is it.
exactly.
I'm like,
Yes.
wait a second.
Yeah,
She
the
just
Winchester
said it.
one,
The
yes.
Winchester
Yeah.
House, which is the. Are you familiar with the Winchester House?
No,
It
fill
is
me
the
in.
house of the gun people, the people
Yeah.
who created the Winchester
Out in
gun.
California, yeah.
And she never stopped.
No, and she has she has staircases that go into a wall. There's doors that lead to nowhere, doors that lead to the outside 3 stories up. And
Yeah, you would
yeah,
push
exactly.
them.
That's a good door to walk out of, right?
And she never stopped building as long as she was alive. It's enormous.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And Helen Mirren's going to be in the movie.
which I love her.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
She plays the actual Lady Winchester, who
Winchester.
created this whole spectacle.
oh, she's so good. I loved her in Red.
Yes, I recently just saw that. I love that movie.
Red and Red 2.
Oh, classic lines. I mean, there's so many lines in that movie that we use around the house. Feel better? Yeah. Want to get pancakes? I love John Malkovich in
Yes.
that. I love them all in that.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. And
they're actors who I don't.
absolutely.
I mean, I always love Helen Mirren, but I don't always love John Malkovich. I don't always love Bruce Willis. That movie,
Yeah.
all.
See, I
and it's so
always
fun to
love
see
Bruce
Richard
Willis,
Dreyfuss as a bad guy.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Did he just call you Bunny?
Wow. So, moving back to your book for a second.
Yes.
So, if this was going to be a movie, who would play Maura Hartwell?
It would be either Jennifer Garner or I'm not blanking on her name, Emily Deschanel, who plays
plays Bones.
on Bones.
Okay, which I've never seen that. And the alive lead male?
The alive lead male is Ryan, who would be played by David Boreanaz.
Okay,
And
so
they're-
it would be the same 2 characters that were
Yes.
on Bones.
Yes.
Would be
Mhm.
doing
Would be
this movie.
doing-
Or Jennifer Garner from the 13 Going on 30, ex of Ben Affleck.
Yep, Alias.
Okay, so now, one of the interesting questions I have for you is, because a lot of your stuff early on started off with you doing editing.
Yes.
So, how many battles did you get into with your editor when they were editing this book?
Considering I self-published it, the battles would be with myself. And I had friends read it and edit it and take a look for proofreading purposes, but I edited the whole thing on my own. So that was safe, yeah. But I had plenty of battles when I used to write for New England Bride, etc., of coming back with red lines anywhere, and you kind of just have to deal with that.
bleeding.
That's where I
deal with
learned that
it.
whatever I write, I don't have any real personal hold on, except for this book, obviously. But anything,
Yeah, but you gotta
articles,
you
things
gotta-
like that, yeah.
Got to be willing to kill your darlings. on occasion.
Absolutely. Yes,
Oh,
killing your
yeah.
darlings is huge. I did kill a darling, because spoiler alert, there's a darling that I did not mean to kill in that I did, and I was very sad about it when I wrote this.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just curious, single worst editing experience?
Having to do it or having been
Somebody-
edited?
What editor right now would you like to shoot?
Oh no, actually, I'm very fortunate. I actually
Minion
used to-
Santa's judging.
the one that hurt the most was when my editor at Alora's Cave turned down a book that I submitted and said the villain seems like he's there just to create external conflict. And she was right. So
Yeah.
that hurt.
It hurts when they're right.
It hurts when they're right. It hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're wrong and they're really wrong, then you can say, look, this is what I intended. If it's not clear, if I make it clear, or if I do that, that's one thing. But I have an easier time with the internal conflict of a character. What's going on for them and where that internal journey needs to go by the end of the book. And coming up with the external thing that's going to put them through the journey until they get to the internal thing sometimes is my bigger challenge when creating a novel. It's a little easier when you're doing something shorter, but when you're trying to get to the 75,000 plus word length, you've really got to make sure there's something coming at them. And the horror genre lends itself to that.
Yes.
Dark fiction lends itself to literally something coming at you.
Yeah.
Romance,
There has to be
more
some kind of-
fabricated, but
yeah.
you have to be really clear about it. And in this case, she was right. The villain was fabricated just to create an external conflict to screw up with my hero and heroine. Eventually, I got rid of him completely, and the book was published.
There you go.
But yeah, so that was it was the right call. But ow, wow, it was like
Yeah.
What
I
was, the,
felt naked.
That hurts.
I felt very exposed.
what was the most difficult editing message that you ever remember having to deliver to a writer that you were like, I just don't want to do this?
Oh gosh. Well, I've had it delivered to me as well. But the first one that I remember having to deliver to a writer was just, you're way off topic here, and this needs to be, like nothing here is correct. And I had to redline the entire thing for myself. Yes, exactly. It was not pretty. For myself, I recently attended a writing workshop because I'm constantly working on my own, working on my own writing and trying to make it better. And it was taught by two of my most favorite authors, Christopher Golden and James Moore. And they had you submit the first 1,500 words of the next book that you're writing on. And so I sent it to them, and in the class, they tore it to shreds and said, there's not enough dialogue. It's more, basically telling, not showing. And you need to actually just get a little bit more, think of it like a movie scene. Think of it, what would be around. Think about people talking. And so instead of just going on to the next part, I scratched that entire thing, completely rewrote it, added in a lot more dialogue, and actually became almost all dialogue. And so there has to be a happy medium there. But that
Well, I
was
think I've mentioned here, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got is to look at your story when it's done, and if you can take out the first 3 chapters, take out the first 3 chapters, because it's back to the backstory and the things that we
Absolutely.
think about
Yep.
that feel very important to us just because of the thought process that's going into it. But as Elmore Leonard said, you should try to eliminate the parts of the book that the readers tend to skip.
yes. And in this case, I had put in some background information on the characters that you
completely
didn't need.
No,
you don't need
no.
her
I have a
parents
friend
who
who I
you're
used-
never going to meet. You don't need to know their stories.
I have a friend whose work I used to edit, and I used to inevitably take out the first 2 to at least 1, if not up to 3,000 words of his stories. He would put them in elsewhere, but that's not where the story needed to
Exactly.
start.
That makes sense.
I had a movie script that I had written. There was 2 of us writing it, but it kind of fell down to, it was 90 pages. They did 10, I did 80
Okay.
type of thing.
Group project.
Yeah, group project.
Well, and to be fair, because this is somebody I knew, and they came to me, and when they first showed me, they said, I have an idea for a movie. I said, great, would you give me feedback, but I don't want you to get involved. I said, yeah, here's feedback. And then when they looked and they saw they had to write 90 pages for the script to work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they ran out of stuff to say at 10 pages, they said, okay, now I'll take some feedback. And
Now we'll take 90 pages.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take
But
80
anyways.
pages.
I can't feel, split the difference, 75.
Exactly.
we got the movie written, and I had developed most of the characters. And one of the places, because especially of what I do for a living as well, doing spiritual coaching
Yep.
and counseling and stuff like that for the last 27 years, I know how to develop a character and a psyche and a motivation because I've seen so many of them.
Absolutely. Yes.
And a lot of internal conflict.
Yeah.
A lot of
Write
internal
what you
conflict.
know.
More importantly, who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Who you know.
But he had paid to have this script professionally reviewed. So Buku Box, some award-winning writer out of Hollywood, option, blah, blah, blah.
Hoity
Did-
and toity.
She.
Yeah, and came down. And the thing that was most frustrating for me, because I really wanted to sit there and go, look, I'm not looking to be a scriptwriter.
Right.
This is like the second script I've ever written, but it just is something I do
Yeah.
on the side. I mean, like it's not my career, it's not my profession, it's not where I'm headed.
Was it for Red 3? Okay.
What?
Was it for Red 3? Because we really need that
No.
movie to happen now.
No, but he kept on saying, he kept on going, really good character development and really good dialogue, and this is somebody that, and he kept on saying how amazed, he actually said 2 or 3 times how amazed he was at like how real, believable
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
dialogue was. And so I'm feeling pretty good. And then his end thing was, you need to throw it all out and start again. Because it's missing this element that Hollywood looks for, and it's missing
Oh,
this
of
element that
course,
Hollywood
yeah.
is looking for.
Right.
It's missing this element, and if you don't have this, and this, Hollywood's not going to pick it up. And we got off the phone, and my friend said, well, when can we spend some time, and I was like, go away.
Yeah.
Either we're going to do this independent, because if all he could do was praise the dialogue the
Yeah.
whole time,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
good it was,
Yeah.
but it doesn't hit the Hollywood big 3.
It doesn't have the lipstick on the pig that you need to add on for it to make
Yeah.
Hollywood happy.
Yeah.
And,
And I'm
and
like-
it would have to be independent. It would have
Exactly.
to go through the festivals
Yeah.
and all that other stuff.
Yeah, which I already did that for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long
So,
road.
yeah, that's 3 scripts I've written. I'm sorry, I forgot one.
Poor
but
other
anyway.
script is crying.
Blanked out.
Oh,
it was just a
dear.
momentary.
What comes after Some Horrific Evening? What are you working on now?
I'm currently working on a book called Let Fate Decide, which is about basically one of the 3 fates. She decides to stop using her powers to go live on Earth and have a normal life and get married and have a kid. And then she has a midlife crisis, as what happens. But unlike the usual midlife crisis, she decides to start looking at the couples that she wanted to be put together, but somehow never wound up together. And to make them together, she starts killing off the people that she didn't want together, so she can put them back together.
Oh my.
Uh-huh.
She's a murderous fate.
It's a murderous fate. It's kind of, yeah.
Well, sometimes fate is murderous.
Yes. Fate wants what she wants, and she wanted
It's
to
like
make it
Death
happen.
Takes a Holiday, only like flipped on its head a bit.
Have you heard anything? I'm completely changing topics for a
Feel
second.
free.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Glad to be warned about the
Obviously,
change.
obviously.
Will it involve an eye roll?
How far are you into the process?
About 10K into this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a little ways
Yes,
to go.
exactly.
But that's a commitment. I mean, 10K into
absolutely.
anything
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
I know you're working on it on No Mom.
Nano rhyme.
Nanu, nanu.
Nanu, Shazbot. Are you working on Shazbot November?
Yes, I am. Robin Williams, Shazbot, November.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about Murder on the Orient Express, the new one?
It's one of those movies that ranks up there in the top movies that never needed to be remade.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was like.
But it has Kenneth Branagh, and I love Kenneth Branagh.
I don't care if there's,
Because
there's
It's got
no
Helen
other.
Mirren.
I know,
No,
exactly.
Judi Dench.
No, Judi Dench, yeah.
Judi Dench. It's
And
got Judi
speaking
Dench.
of Robin Williams,
It's got a wonderful cast, but so did the original one. And
Yeah.
you know what? There's nothing new for him to make. There's not a single new script out there for him to look at and do. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing Kenneth
Yeah.
Branagh. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the movies he's directed. But this movie didn't need to be redone. You want to see the Murder on the Orient Express? Rent the original.
Kenneth Branagh and Robin Williams were actually in one of my favorite movies ever, Dead Again.
I love Dead Again.
It
I
is the
own Dead
best.
Again.
I do too.
And-
I see it all the time. And Robin Williams in it is
And Derek Jacobi,
amazing.
who I love.
Yes,
Or
and
Jacobi,
Emma
I'm not sure
Thompson,
how
who
you
is my
pronounce it.
spirit animal.
And so many people have never seen that.
I know. I mentioned it, and people are like,
Williams
I don't
does
know
it
what
on
it is.
Build.
Yeah.
He does it on Build. So
Yes.
I'm credited.
But it was so
but it
good.
is a
I
brilliant
love
film.
that movie.
Oh, that was such a great
Yes.
movie.
It made me
and-
terrified of scissor sculptures for quite a long time. But
Well, and that was and Kenneth Branagh and now I'm blanking on Emma Thompson.
Yes.
They were married.
They
for
were
that
married
movie.
Yes,
at the
they
time.
were.
Yep.
They were married for that movie.
yep.
Andy
yeah.
Garcia.
Absolutely. Oh
was
my
also
gosh.
wonderful.
Oh.
I love the move between the color and the black and
Yes.
white, and
Uh-huh.
we're back to a big old house again.
Oh,
for
exactly.
you.
I know. This is it's
Big old
kind of.
house.
Here's the thing about big
We
old.
see what affects it, what influences
yes,
us
it
and affects us.
does.
We want to thank author Mary Hart for coming on. Her newest book is called Some Horrific Evening.
Yes, follow her on Facebook. I know she has another book signing coming up in the December month. So if
Yes, I do.
putting books on your Christmas list to give to friends and family on your holiday list is something for you to do, come see Mary and she will sign it for you.
Yes, I will.
Where is your book signing?
It is at Orange Leaf in Methuen on December 1st from 5 to 8.
Okay, so there you go. There you have it. So Mary, thank you for coming.
Thanks
And
for having me. This was fun.
Absolutely.
It flew by.
when the new book is being released, let us know,
I
and maybe
will.
we can have you on and we can chat about that.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So, horror and Christmas,
The perfect combination, and Santa's judging you.
and Santa's judging you.
This is why they make eggnog.
Make the holidays what you want them to be. Oftentimes, suicides go up around the holidays, drunk driving accidents go up around the holidays, family murders go up around the holidays. Seriously, some of the statistics are kind of scary. Holidays are supposed to be holy days. If you make the days holy, then there will be no horror in them. Namaste.